Yinje Gundo Nimbo Lembe Lo Junje Meba Jewara Jingi Lo Junje Meba Jewara Jingi Lo So Yowa Chiye Chubu Jinyudu Jibe Chiwa Temba Shiwe Jesu Luda Jima Jekana Lende Chiche Tangwa Yeba Tembo Nyene Nyebe Zota Jin Tawa Namja Bawa Kezo Tada Jubara Jebala Tato Pada Dembara Jingi Tato Pada Dembara Jingi Jebe Mingo Dungo Agungi Goye Dine Miro Sebe Abunzo Neme Rene Tabe Dewa Tunye Jimbo Jebara Jingi Lo Tunye Jimbo Jebara Jingi Lo Nanda Samba Deye Jamba Ye Tenda Chechen Ba Ye Jimbo Tembe Tawa Zozora Tawa La Truwa Nimbo Jebara Jingi Druva Nimbo Cheba Jingi Ranye Sezora Longwa Jijin Dumyo Druva Gunja Tenda Tone Druva Druva Gujebe Chanjo Semjo Jombara Jingi Lo Chanjo Semjo Jombara Jingi Semzama Jeja Chundina Namsun La Romba Mena Chanjo Nendro Lebara Tone Jazia Tomba Tomba Tabe Lovaji Tomba Tabe Lovaji Lobe Yula Yawa Jijindo Yanda Dela Tujin Chu Shen Lando Sundu Nidu Jula Kiwa Jinji Jula Kiwa Jinji Tomo Lanja Anadu Giovanna Teva Gundia Chodu Andozi Kazan Jebe Jungo Tamba Dela Nyudu Anjuba Jingi Dela Nyudu Anjuba Jingi Tete Mundra Nanya Jube Shenanda Tanzia Tomba Sunha Chama Membe Neba Nyeju Sodan Dode Sunwara Jingi Sodan Dode Sunwa Jingi Renye Jene Nama Tijin Tone Atsomba Ye Tunjia Nanjo Chole Miye Tambe Sonshin Druba Jinji Lo Tambe Sonshin Druba Jinji Tatara Lamsa Tambe Shinye Sujin Drube Trona Jade Cheda Nange Padu Chebe Sonyewa Shiwa Jinji Latu Nyewa Shiwa Jinji Latu Kyawa Kundu Yangda Lama Tantame Chuji Bala Luji Hata Lamki Yangda Ratu Ye Change Goma Nyudu Oi Jingambo Warajo Mbagambo Mea Wanje Seki Saji Om Bajareke Che Shari Koyo Ge Kowe Re Gyabo Re Ra Sha To Zambo Ne No Balan She Shan Rami Nudan Lupa Ngaya Da Ngaya She Yudan Da Chuchu Rami Nyan Da Rami Nyan Gen Nimbo Che Reo Wa Sange She Doje Ba Mamo Ba Ye Lo To Wala Rinpoche, Nambo Rinpoche, Zomo Rinpoche, Lombo Rinpoche, Nambo Rinpoche, Tajo Rinpoche, Mambo Rinpoche, Teshenpo Impumpa, Kema Roma, Roma Kama, Medoma Dugama, Nasama Tijamo, Nyema Dava. Rinpoche, Do Chole Namba Gyawe Gyase, Ozo Hada Mi, Penjo Punso Soba Ma Sangwa Mi, Yin Hito Wong Wan Tita Jinje, Sawa Dan Gyu Ba Chebe Ba De Nama Damba Na, Keba Do Yang Yung Zon Tenbe Nga Ta, Jesu Lo San Gya De Chede, Mela Sambo Shinga Ne Teba Shimbo Sung Jo Sambo Shu Wei Yu Do Shingan Bu Wai Gyu, Tu Che Jo Wei Nun Tu She Su So, Shi Ne Gyang Da So Jo Wa Ma Yu Nan Ke Ta Da Nyam Be Sim Jen Tai, 不在我全部不能行也老多所心别念大业去年给别所难给，着了分着三给着八修，三界去当作业出难了，全就把的那能叫自己，大给去接给别所难给，着了分着三给着八修。那当那没那么这样不懂，就是那就去就那叫我这帮那孙子什么上的这些的就没大些这当别去年前年的这些，那也给那这个装的那没也给弄动，装个这张那这，他们这个的大概去动动。这
다 마지막에 더 나오면 메시지 담지에도 도전하는 놈을 봐요도 맞아 메시지에 공부를 먼저 진행해요 더 봐자 대체도 담배 주세요 그는 군주 여러 번을 내봐서 담배 셈바르시오.
But for the sake of all mother sensing beings equaling the limits of space, one must by every means attain the precious state of full enlightenment Buddhahood. In order to accomplish this, one shall now listen to these teachings of the Dharma. So therefore, please clarify your motivation and listen in such a manner.
나 consemba 자외 주네. 근데 자외 성럽 담제지. 네드 바스. 이 말다. 자외 성럽 담제 그게 냠내나 까요. 내가 체슈되지. 저도이죠. 된다게는 내가 저주 남자를 봐서야 대주게 값지. 나 대나 난다. 집에 중에 남진 의지 점로도 내리니게 노네 단다. 나 점로가 대연의 점로 남자. 이 말에 달라지 값지.
So the teachings that we're listening to is the teaching that contains all the essential points of the scriptures of all the Buddhists. The single teaching that contains all the most important points of practice. It contains the instructions of all the important points of the practice relating to the scriptures, which is the graduated path of enlightenment, Lamrim Chenmo. And within this text, we have come to the actual practice of the path corresponding to being of the lower scope. And within that, we have come to the section of refuge. And within the section of refuge, we've come to the section of the precepts of refuge. Yes.
바바 도메 제베 도와는 중이 골지다. 그래다 라면에 남만한 좀 하는 중에 그냥 니요 변노게 도와는 좀 가서 쉬지 마지. 다음에 하는 중에 그냥 내가 제요 이 말이 다 되는 맛이지.
Yes. So within the section of precepts of refuge, we've come we're now in a portion talking about the benefits of going for refuge. And within this section, there are two divisions. The first set being the benefits as mentioned in the text called the Compendium of Determinations, composed by the great master Arya Sangha. And the second section is that of the instructions composed. The benefits of refuge is found in the instructions of the lineage lamas. So yesterday we completed the section on the Compendium of Determinations, and today we continue with the benefits of refuge as mentioned in the instructions of the lineage lamas, oral instructions of the lineage lamas, and within these there are 8. Yes.
명하는 중에 배워나 제래 넘버 선제바 취반네 제래 지나나 주소 뭐는 노이 나나 저어도 신대바 점류 제바 잡이 점도 숨네 마동나 자오 대나 도마 선제바 취반나 군조소는 타반에 넘어나서 만든 바 그지 대매나 개와 강한 제정 선제바 매주도 이 말이다 넘바 선제바 예매게 참로데 제야데 감대다 점류제 바니서 이 말이다 근데 단다 넘바 선제 비추이데다 자한이 중바로 근데 자하게 개바 좋아진 뭐다 대도 되냐면은 신도 봤어요 여하지 다 코너만 얘기는 지나게 제바도 점루고는 약이 어렸어 근데 얘네 다 라브랜드 주베 그게 주사 소원인데 다 조지 인자 근데 대노지지 근데 점루니 지나게 제바 점루지죠 이 말이
So also, then the inner path, the demarcation of an inner being or a Buddhist is that of refuge in the Three Jewels. So what makes one a Buddhist or not depends on whether one has taken refuge in the Three Jewels. So as we all know, the inner Dharma, or the Buddhist Dharma, had come from India. And in India, there were the great scholars, such as it mentions here, the elder. and also Shantipa. So these two great beings had proclaimed, the difference in whether one is an outsider or an insider, whether one is a Buddhist or not, is depending on whether one is seeking refuge in the three jewels, the demarcation point. And also Lama Disha also acknowledged that the demarcation point is the practice of refuge. So, in order to become Buddhist, one needs to take refuge in the three jewels from the depths of one's being. If one does not have this refuge, irregardless of what practices one may do, one simply is not a Buddhist. So one needs to take refuge in the Buddha as the teacher of refuge, take refuge in the Dharma as the actual refuge, and take refuge in the Sangha as support of practice of refuge. So if one does not do so, no matter how much virtuous actions one may do, even if one may remain within states of meditative concentrations for long periods of time, even though one may do practices of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions, however, without refuge, one may do all these huge varieties of practices. However, without proper practice of refuge, one is still not a Buddhist. And all these practices do not become the cause for liberation or become causes for attaining the states of omniscient Buddhahood. Yes.
Deya tende chungpa yina yon nomba sonje pa chugu ma res. Neten sha ma sik nombe trese ma supa mong se sumba re. Nisa tende chene chamro mewa yina tawa genpa tende se ma ka lo ya tenla supa yina yon nomba sonje pa chugu mewa re.
So if one does not have refuge, even though one may be residing in a monastery and gradually over time becoming an elder in terms of ordination and so forth, becoming an elder in the monastery. However, if without the practice of refuge, even though one may be an elderly monk in terms of a senior or elder, but without the practice of refuge, still one is not counted as a Buddhist.
Nomba sonje be tres tsuba asyaje. Nomba tamje den jorwa ne zondrile. Jawsan rwan nomba yon da nomba tanje da go juba yin no shi da jamru dunje ba de jo. Kenye som de jarwa den domje sawa yin shi son de jamru nyon den je samba tembar che je tele nomba che wala ko so. Nimada nomba sotaji nomba jena sota bare je sene sombarwa. Nimada in the sort of a rage, the Dombalim Bala, Jamro Gogiore, Jamro Mena, and Domachi Mary. In the end, Jamri Dombe Tenches, Reda, Jeredana, Reda, Dombala, Reda, and Yonde Sambe Semba. Retended in that in Young Dombas and Dogua. That Dombala, reda surim re jikib surim nemon surim nginjong surim se yong yore inde 단단데 단다 인종이 들으니 온데 제반이나 아니 잠도 도마도 이제 되는 쪽이라서 대연은 인종 삼바 간데서 용요르세나 추군요도 잡선 로윤도고나 그러다 뇽데지 삼바 냥엔데도 생 인종 삼바 자용으로 와 네인데 도차도 자완는 이제 추를 잡선 치고서 이는 도차도 자완는 이제 추를 잡선 치고서 된 도차도 자와 시원용데 지 대를 잡선 로서 때요 몬데 중몬도 잡아 고네 잡선 로고거든 인데 용데 된 몬도 잡아 노네 잡선 송반인데 용데 삼바지 다 된데 그거는 용데 삼바 때 뭐고네 domba nom바이나 domba 때요 당연히 여기 좀 자기거래 다 비교는 주거래
이제 수준 남성 가리나
아니 직접
직접 수준 나 내면 게 수준 예중기 수준 나스
단 직접 해야 돼 첸디 지과의 조야 근데 제도는 수준 넘어있는 직접 수준이었어 스밍 온도 더야게 점제 제도 수준 넘어있나 레몬의 수준이죠 단 용대 통도지 삼바 되는 삼바이나 능이 좀 수준
yes. So when one takes refuge in the three jewels, this becomes the basis for receiving vows, for taking vows. There are generally considered 8 classes or 8 types of vows pertaining to the nature of individual liberation, vows of pratimoksha, or the vows of individual liberation. There are 8 types of such vows. And in order to take these vows, one needs to have taken refuge in the 3 jewels, without which one, having taken refuge in the 3 jewels, one cannot take these vows. So in general, the vows of pratimoksha or individual liberation are considered, if one takes these vows with the thought of achieving nirvana in order to go beyond suffering, then these vows becomes the vows of renunciation. In general, there are 3 types of vows. The vows 3 types of vows or 3 types of ethics. 3 types of ethics. The ethics that protect from fear, the ethics of the excellent aspiration, excellent aspiration, and the vows of renunciation. The vows and the ethics of renunciation. So the ethics of that protect from fear are, for example, the vows that one takes in order to protect oneself from the fears that one may encounter in this life. So fears pertaining to this life. So in order to protect from that, one takes those vows, and those belong to the class of ethics that protect from fear. And then there is the second type of the ethics of excellent aspiration. Those vows are those you take in order to achieve with the intention of achieving a higher rebirth at the time of death, higher rebirth in the higher realms. So therefore, these are the vows of excellent aspiration. And then there are the vows of renunciation, or the ethics of renunciation, which refers to the vows when one takes with the thought or with the intention of achieving nirvana, the peace of nirvana, to go beyond suffering. So, for example, when we take refuge in the refuge ceremony, and then there is the line, we take refuge in the Dharma, which is the peace of nirvana that is free from attachment, that is totally free from attachment. So therefore, this shows the aspiration, and one takes refuge in the Dharma with the intention to actually practice the Dharma to achieve such a state of liberation, going beyond suffering. So with that, if one has this intention and then takes these vows and practices these ethics, then it becomes the ethics of renunciation. Yes.
내 파기 도버지고 배차고 시순배 파드 제반집에 다이비 점로집에 될 마지바 따버때 점로집에 엔디주다비 체로 건다 상제 접수만 대상에 눈로면 매일은 보내 다다 유튜브 시 주동게 늘나요 대달 송소 대나 응어서베 대발라는 서반주바다 라는 제반조로 이 말이다 점로 제배 응ar사베 당에서 제조지 내다봐요 네 사바단 제반조로 이 말 서비스 레제 넘버면 맞대 다 영어로 치지 그 다시 아버지니 그런 게 삼바 쇼치 좀 거는 거요 얘다 삼바 쇼 잡고는 네 정도다 샤바체베나 대과 말ban 제로야 다들 링스마도 맞아요나네 그 링스 세야 다 때문에나요네 대과 도시 영어로야 근데요 아닌데 네 사바단 제반조로서 소위 말해.
So in the text we are on page 204, and here we've come to the third of the 8 benefits of refuge, which is that you reduce and eliminate previously accumulated karmic obstructions. So here it says that due to having the practice of refuge, due to cultivating the practice of refuge, all the previously accumulated karma then becomes gradually reduced and eventually becomes eliminated due to the practice of refuge. And Rinpoche here puts emphasis on the word reduce, sabba, which refers to the ripening result of the karma becoming lighter, becoming lightened due to the practice of refuge. So when one practices refuge, then together, simultaneous with that, if one practices confession, confessing these negative karmas, then if dependent on the mind of the person who does the confession, how powerful that state of mind is, the state of confession is. Then if one has a very powerful state of regret and so forth, a powerful state of confessional mind, then one can actually exhaust all the karma accumulated from the past, totally exhaust these results. And if one has the middling strength, has a confessional mind of middling strength, then the karma is reduced to that extent. And if one has like a small or a weak state of confessional mind, then if one practices that in conjunction with refuge, then the karmic ripening results are lightened. Yes.
라바군이 되바시야 다다 시발리 송 라바군이 되면 나온다 점르드 바다야라 파기 도바지 바페차고 송이 말이야 나 파기 도바지 바페차고 송이한데 나다 사지 그러다 제대포 나 제대포 네다 된리 제대로 살아 겁슨 마시기 어려워 살아 겁슨 마시기 동복간에 제와간에 넘바니 대용식이요래 다 단대 내가 가와요면도 시기로 되네 마음만한테 가와적인도 대시기요래 이다 겁섬 시기요래 이다 사회 버지 제대포 다 가와적인도 따용도 거나 파를 적이요 하듯이 다 파를 째는 담면서 와서야다 된다가 동안 몸은 용어요 하듯 시 대신용도 거는 그 양에게 세치 그래다 된데 게 잡지 양에 제득이 아니 말이야 다 될때 답 간데 요 나서네 사용 뭐 자진을 주 자진에는 점루치스 소이 말이야 라이브 점루치 점루치네 근데 다다 라이브데 샘프네 가데니네스 제송을 가데 이다 사이네 단다 자진 레브게세 숨주사 숨세야 돼 여러 되는네 고마 남가라 야 탑더스야지 되는네 숨바 가든 저기요. 다 사이에는 롱게 내 메조든 통계 얼마도 내 고만 통계요 말이야. 이제 되는 자진게나 파드 진저 대가와제요 당연도 거나 다 심지어서 메조는 매요. 메조는 매하는데 근데 가와제 연전 통계 매요. 마통연도 좀 내는 슈. 다 가와제요 나서 슈드네 가든에서 제자서 somebody.
Then here Lama Tsongkhapa quotes from the Compendium Trainings, which is a text composed by the great Shantideva. And here in this text it says, here you should take the edifying tale of the pig as an example. So the tale of this pig was, the story goes that one god, a being of the godly realms, had died. And generally gods have different titles. So a certain title of the gods is that of what they call the 3 periods of time, Kapsumba, 3 periods of time, because gods have the ability to know 3 periods of time. The first period being how they had come to be born into the heavenly realms, and the second period is the present, here and now. You know? And the third period of time is where they would be born in the future after they pass away. So they have the knowledge, the ability to know these 3 periods of time. And so this particular god was about to die, and he was checking with his clairvoyant powers where he would be born after that life, and had discovered that he would be born as a pig, having to eat excrement and experience the immeasurable amount of suffering as a pig. Therefore, he was extremely anguished, and so tormented by that finding, so that he wailed in torment, in anguish, and was thinking where he could find a method, or something to protect him from falling to this unfortunate rebirth. And hence he sought the help of Indra, the king of gods, Indra. And Indra then advised him to practice refuge, take refuge in 3 jewels. So through practicing refuge, then this god, or we should say the heavenly son, which means a child of the gods, then died. And then after that he was reborn in the Tushita heaven. So the heaven that he had passed away from, is where the god also is where the god Indra resided, which is the heaven of the 33. So above the heaven 33, you have this another heavenly abode called Tabdra, which means free of strife, free of rife. Yeah, Tabdra. So then, fighting, free from fighting. So then above that is the third heavenly realm called Tushita. So because gods can see with their clairvoyant powers, they can see only realms that are same with them or lower, even lower than their existence. However, they are unable to perceive higher abodes of existence. So therefore, the god Indra had checked with his clairvoyant, surveyed his realm and the realms beneath his, with his powers to check if that god had been born as a pig or where he had been born in those realms, and he could not find that particular god. So therefore, and since he couldn't see the realms higher than his, therefore he approached the Buddha and asked the Buddha the whereabouts of this god, and the Buddha replied that he had been born in the Tushita, the realm of Tushita heaven.
니말다 단다 손에 제반주와 파도 제반주와 대 손질을 잡서 손에 파일도 다 자진에 대 응원사진 근데 체도 줘봐는데 손이 말이에요. 공다 손질을 잡서 손이 나한테 손 도면도 멜리본의 사이도 토브야 세야다. 내가 너는 줄을 잡서 손은 해서 로마리 멜리본의 사이도 토브야. 견줄 잡서 나요. 나 내가 너지 지내네 자세가 되가라니 제주 지내는 손이 말이야.
So then, having discovered that this being, this God, was not born in the lower realms after death because of having taken refuge in the Buddha, and had in fact achieved the body of a deity. So then Indra, the god, king of gods, Indra, was totally amazed, and he composed this praise, which you can see in the text. Those who go for refuge to the Buddha do not go to the miserable realms. After giving up human form, they assume the bodies of deities, or bodies of gods. And likewise, similar. There are similar verses. Those who go for refuge to the Dharma do not go to the lower realms. After giving up human form, they assume the bodies of gods. And also, those who go for refuge to the Sangha, achieve likewise benefits. So, this verse was uttered in praise of the three jewels by the king of gods, Indra. Yes. Yes. Then the next benefit is that you will accumulate vast merit. So as mentioned before, by going for refuge to the three jewels, going for refuge to Buddha and so forth, the three jewels, then the amount of merit accrued from that, if he had formed, even though the entire vastness of the entire worldly existences would not be able to contain such merit. So therefore, as was mentioned before, the vast merit accumulated from refuge. Yes. So the next benefit is that you will not fall into the miserable realms. So as mentioned before, of a god at the time of death who was destined to be born in the lower realms, as specifically as a pig, to a rebirth as a pig, and due to her power of having gone for refuge, she was protected from such suffering. So therefore, one can understand from this earlier explanation. Yes. So, by going refuge to the Buddha, one does not fall into the lower realms, and also the previously accumulated karma gets exhausted or purified. And therefore, not only does one take refuge in the Buddha, and also at the time of death for other beings, at the deathbeds, if one can recite the verses of refuge into their ears, or also the names of the various Buddhas at the time at their at their deathbed, these beings will not fall into the lower realms due to the power of the three jewels. So these occurrences have happened many times throughout history. One can, if one were able to do such an act, recite the names of the Buddhas and verses of refuge into the ears of a dying being, whether it is an animal or an actual person, one would be able to free them from the unfortunate rebirth in the lower realms, and also oneself would be able to accumulate a vast amount of merit from doing this act. Nice.
Da me da mama ni pa jo ji me so ba so me so ba ne le ka da so ma chim bo ne ba se ya ji so ba da so ma chim bo de ba se de me da mama ni pa jo ge me so ba ji pa jo de so ma ni za ne so ma chim bo de ba se ya so ma ba re ni ba da de me da mama ni ji 바조지 메소바는 도레 지구잡에 맨날 바제 레던 나자도 공가동네 존내지 용신나라 잠로데 잡데 소어 많이시 잡데 조조 많이라 잡데나네 때네죠 동안 끊는 면로지 공지 이마 단지 된바냐 나니나 레다 나자다 공가라와다 다 용신다 된들 내den게 사다 잡선로 저저 된데 정에 몸보용비어로 이제 근데 잠내데 내 잡게 소어만 단 내가 템템 배도나 용요나 마도 잡데 소어 말이 잡데 초도 줘 봐요 말이 될라 때네 그래다 누가 꾸네 저것도 봐 고비 누가데 저것도 봐지 용거 말해서 어나 소리 잡선 로거스나 간세 간지 산제도 줘도 괜찮 잡선 농 이제 군조선 잡선 하면이나 동아 군종도 동아 용단 대바동 판론이나 제대와 양현대반 로저동 이제 단다 군조선도 잡서 송바이나 다 동아 고베 동아 된바 그래다 사진 고베 동아를 타토바 용거리 대자마지 동아된 주민 동아 군주민 내 군종된바 레뇽이 제 대니 본트 봐 용거리 다 동안에 용다 대베 아니 타바 톱이야 동안 용다 대바 동안세다 고den이 말 다기 두데 군종된바 고den지 파나야나 제대와 얘들 남네 톱도 봐 용거리스 얘들 다 동안도 군종이 본 고den도 남대 톱 대레제는 양해는데 봐 타베고 뭐 도반 주거리에서 이 말 양현대반 로저도 파베 덴바시보다 시럽진에 따체바 잡데 소원인바데 잡된 조주 조도 줘바니 손절의 접수 소매 고원에 덴바지다 론도 수제도 제바이나 다데 주념네리 아니 주의 접수 로도 된데 용기어로 다 잡데 소월에 잡된 조조에 될 사비에 나 잡여 말이 잡데라 때네 농아 탐제래 농아 군에 조반 줘서 고아등에서 동안 담제대 조간 주기를 했었네. 소원이 말이에요.
So then the next benefit is that you will not be thwarted by human or non-human hindrances, which means that humans or non-human entities will not be able to create interruptions to whatever you're doing. So here it says, quotes from the sutras, so this is the benefit of receiving great protection when one goes for refuge to three jewels. So it's, here in the text it quotes from the sutra saying, people who are terrified mostly go for refuge to deities of the mountains, forests, temples, and the trees of sacred places. So in general, people may go to forests or mountains and seek refuge of the local deities there. And this is quite, many people do that. So however, such refuge is only good to a certain degree, is a temporal refuge, only of temporal benefit. There's no ultimate benefit from that. These objects of refuge are not the ultimate or the supreme objects of refuge. So the verses go, such refuges are not the foremost, such refuges are not supreme. If you rely on such a refuge, you will not be free from all suffering. So if one goes for refuge to these worldly deities, one will not be able to free oneself from cyclic existence. And then the verses continue, when you go for refuge to the Buddha, the teaching and the community, you will see with wisdom the Four Noble Truths. So if one goes for refuge to the three jewels, one would be able to free oneself from cyclic existence and its entirety of contaminated suffering. So it says here, the Four Noble Truths, suffering, the origin of suffering, correctly overcoming suffering, and the happy, noble, eightfold path leading to nirvana. So here, one, through going for refuge to three jewels, one can abandon the source of cyclic existence, which is karma, and the afflictive emotions and its afflictions. So abandoning these, one is able to one is able to recognize, firstly, the noble truths of suffering and the original suffering, which are the karma and its afflictions. And one is able to abandon these two and eventually achieve the noble truth of cessation, that which here is referring to the correctly overcoming suffering, this line, which refers to cessation, and the happy, noble, eightfold path leading to nirvana, which is the true path of liberation. So one is able to achieve these two by going for refuge to three jewels. Then the verses continue. This is the foremost refuge, this supreme refuge. If you rely on such a refuge, you will be freed from all suffering. So if one goes for refuge to the three jewels, which are the foremost and supreme object of refuge, one will be able to be free from all the sufferings of cyclic existence. Yes.
long shaba drop ne chi dubya yo imra long ja se ya chi long shaba drop long shaba de drop ne ko ma ga la long ja de dong yong de ko na gang ga shin ro yo den de je la ne zu zi sim jin so ne den de je la imra da long ja ta ba imra long ja ta de ko na ne de shin ma to ba da de shin ma to ne Karina, and the Coron Nuba, the young man wrote a agenda jailer, redags on the jailer, Tamu, Shino. In the dark Karina, Lunjatamina, Kanga Shigio, Puggy, Mashate, Yonde, Kandra, Joy, and Chile Chinchi. And the Choran Yonde Cario was. Now Yonde came Mason, and the Choran Yonde Chimoreshas. The Lunja Tamna, Kanga Shigio, Churashito Mendoza. Carrier said, Cocham Rochigios. Said, Lavin Lochiore, the legend, Jamrochi, Gavla, and May Nova, Chematovachi, attended Chumbari.
So when go next to the text, it says here you should use as examples the stories about the non-Buddhists who mastered the magic rope and so forth. So in the past there was a non-Buddhist, an outsider who had accomplished a practice of a magical lasso or a rope, and this magic rope or lasso was made of wind, wind element. And he accomplished this particular attainment, and so he was able to send this wind lasso to whoever he didn't like, and then he would be able to kill them with this wind lasso. So one day he saw this particular boy who was like a herder of animals, and so he sent this wind lasso to that boy. Well, however much he did, he was unable to kill this boy herder. And herder boy, and then so he wondered. Then he sent the same wind lasso to the animals, the other animals by the side, and he was able to kill them. But when he did the same to the boy, nothing had happened. So he wondered then what qualities or what achievements did this boy have, attainments did this boy have. So he went close to the side of the boy and asked him, what qualities have you achieved? Have you attained, that? So the boy replied to him saying that, I don't have any good qualities. I'm not attained anything. Unlike you, you are a being of great attainment. And then, but the non-Buddhist then told him that I was able to kill all the people I disliked, while studying my windlass. But when I did it to you, nothing happened. So what's the reason for that? So the boy replied, "It's because I take refuge in the three jewels." And so hence, by taking refuge in the three jewels, he was unable to be, the non-Buddhist was unable to harm him. So therefore, by taking refuge in the three jewels, one would not receive harm or interruptions by human or non-human entities. Yes.
잠시 부모님이 와 임말에 다 우복에서 놓은 지게 니 근데 거기에 단다 님은 지게 니네라 제발네 nombe nyene la jabane nomne imar tende jene tininga de jaboya jamjam chi che de gona namgal chem to de da tende je pe to sa ya le de imar de jabola to tre ro se lo jabu to je yo go se kene jabom je imar da je ne 전남고 남세에서마도 말해야지. 남세에서는 대체 다 잡으마가 내지에서 잡으케 놓아 인자때 말해나다 그런 게다 주도세나 로동으로 냠르고요. 되는이자 제고요. 다 제야나 전남고는 몇만이 못 나온가요. 그때 제된 로는 게요 말이야. 잡으 들어가진 다된 로는 게요 이나 아니면 마시 못 해지요. 순론 누구 요새도 텐데 잠재 되게 다 nombichula 잡서는 많이 노비 수고 말해서 그래. 단원 점로제 동반된 말에 다 노비 수고 말해서는 디켄이 제로 알아. 로도가 많이 노바 마정을. 그래서 남가라니 대 이다 제토가 이다 부응합 자체 되는지 다 dobje sayamnaji eni shiroji da dobje kine de yodu eni ji nombre dan de tenen de mare yege somba de ya des ese de da te ase tenen de ase te ase de gona de yida ke zumruge truba truchi kono de kanga saya yo yida mahu kanga saya yo tende cho eni yida de ga eni choro ma yu de se pomba kon yo de jegos 세네 매만이 노베 마소베 코나 아니 세라버리 텐데 용요
천승이 열지 니자 니니고 도만내지 좀바지 그지랑 좀바지 겨보기 투래 Yes. Translated down. Yes. Maybe come. Okay. Yes. Kongi. Cái gì mà ni con đi sẽ khó đi用. Ý là con khá là sẽ thằng. Ý là con khá là sẽ thằng này 怕khá là chơi. Say again. 아니요. Yes. Anyway, sorry, it's a long story. So there was a Brahmin who had taken a one-day vows. The one-day vows, the 8 vows, for one day. Okay, so this is an example pertaining to how when one takes refuge in 3 jewels, one is not harmed by non-human beings. So there was one Brahmin who took. Sorry.
Unable to be harmed by human beings and non-human beings.
So one is not harmed by human beings and one is not harmed by human beings and non-human beings. So here, this is the example of that. There was once a Brahmin who had taken the one-day vows, and then also at that time there was a king who was passing, who went into town, and along the road he met a prisoner who was deprived of food, was starving prisoner. Then he begged the king for generosity of food, for some food, and the king replied saying that he did not bring food with him. However, he will perform generosity, later. He'll bring the food later. So then, however, throughout the day, eventually the king forgot about this promise, and suddenly in the middle of the night, he suddenly recalled having made this promise. Then he thought, since I made this promise, I must fulfill it. If I do not, then it will be bad on my reputation as a king to go back on my word. However, he thought, since it's the middle of the night, it is, there are spirits out there, non-human beings wandering about. So, who shall I send to bring this food to this prisoner without being harmed by these non-human beings? So then this Brahmin, remember this Brahmin, the Brahmin said, I will go, I'll bring food to this prisoner because I have taken the one-day vows. So therefore, I kept the precepts, and one of the benefits of these vows is that I will not be harmed by non-human beings. So then he then went forth to bring this food to the prisoner. And along the way, he met a hungry ghost who had given birth to 500 children. And so this hungry ghost begged him for food as well. And so he gave a very small portion of the food to the hungry ghost. And through the power of his morality, he transformed the food into a very vast amount with which he gave to the hungry ghost. Then eventually he was able to bring food to the prisoner, and the hungry ghost, in return for his kindness, gave him a sack of gold. So, so you can see here that when the Brahmin, due to having taken refuge in 3 jewels, kept the one-day vows, he not only was not harmed by the non-human beings, but in return he even earned a sack of gold from this practice. Yes.
이말이다. 잠로 제베 매만이게 노베면서 봐. 용어 맛에 잠로 낸도 제베 이나요. 매만이게 노베면서 봐. 된대 용어래.
So when one takes refuge in the 3 jewels, one is not only not harmed by human beings, one is also not harmed by the non-human beings as well. No. Okay, sorry. Even if though one may even just merely have the intention of taking refuge, one is also not harmed by the. Due to that, one is also not harmed by human or non-human entities.
Just one doesn't get harmed by the spirits, even by just doing repetition, the prayer, recitation of taking refuge. Just merely repeating the words, taking refuge without the intention.
So just repeating the verses of refuge alone also has such protection. Yes.
나도 바제 보호도 좀 많이 말해. 로주 레고는 삼바지 요요래. 삼바들은 짐나지게 다레 지푸이 말해. 남사스미야. 대금마지가 하고 아니 고나 아니 고마데 이게 삼바사 레 보관로 그래. 아니 삼바 고 잡는 데요도 고통지. 아니 레드 키셔서 그 레드 마트야 얘는 세긴 있어야 되는데 신경 거지. 그래서 삼바데는 정보제제는 다 되는 맞이에서. 저런 된대제 내래된 초반이나 저런은 되고 있는 그래서. 대래는 저런 그접지 그거에 거네. 로 이는 해야지 마도 아니에요 삼삼지. 되이나 는 아론인가 야보용 그래서. 라브지. 다 그만데는 응원해 말이래. 근데 담배대 고인 tre라. 의용지. 라반인가 야 추우스요 이 말이. 다 되네 저는 그접지는 라반인가 야 좋아셔 응애를 되고서. 근데 그 말들 라반인가 야 좋아한데다. 은 담배 답이 담지. 가려야다 노노다. 제도 동용지는 성제를 잡은 지워서 주과지시. 최를 잡은 지워서 지시. 근데 잡은 지워서 지시도 네 싫어지. 담배만 내셔. 다 좀 유만의 용가지 아스. 근데 그 나서 돈다죠. 논로 맞도지. 되는 마음로는 삼마지고 원은 얘기다 그러지. 인도다 그는 나서 돈인도 그는 아니 다게 될 렌도지. 선제를 잡은 지워. 되게 그래요. 최를 잡은 지워. 근데서는 근데 그는 지럽지. 근저 싸움마다 매와도 답이 하셔서. 근저 예요는 아세 사서. 나버지. 다 대건다니 그 텐데 랍다 인자 삼백원은 몇만이 몸만 dro고요 남주. 대건단 좀 맞도 버려 되지. 그 점을 세죠. 단nen도 제대산.
So then another incident, as Rishi just mentioned, of just merely reciting the refuge formula without even actually taking refuge, also has the power to protect oneself from such harm. So this incident happened in Tibet, in the mountains. There's a meditator meditating in the mountains, and one of his benefactors offered fabric to the meditator, and this was to make clothes. Okay, fabric to make clothes. So this was became known to a thief, or a robber. So this robber wanted to take this piece of fabric from the meditator. So he went up, the dress cloth. So he went up. Sorry.
Dress cloth shirt.
Dress cloth shirt. So he went up to the meditator's cell or hut. The door was latched, closed. So he knocked on the door of the meditator's hut, and he said, "Give me your fabric." What was it? Cloth shirt? What's the third one? So if not, I will kill you. So the meditator replied to him, don't do this. If you take this cloth shirt from me, you will accumulate negative karma rather, if you were to request it from me respectfully, and I were to give it to you as in an act of generosity, both of us would accumulate merit. So the
Put your hand
put your hands together respectfully.
through the window.
Not yet. No,
Through the window, through the tiny window of the hermitage.
Yes.
Put your two hands respectfully through the window.
Yeah. So then, so the robber believed that. So then the meditator then opened his door a little bit, in a wee little bit opening. Then he said, "Put your hands through the window in a respectful manner. I will give the fabric to you, a fabric cloth shirt to you." And so when he put his hands in, then the meditator tied them with rope, and sort of like dragged him up. Tied him to the pillar, and then he came outside with a stick and hit him, with a lot of strength, and hit him 3 times. And first time he said, "No, I take refuge in the Buddha," and then hit him the second time strongly. He said, "I take refuge in the Dharma," and then hit him the 3rd time strongly. "I take refuge in the Sangha." And so then he released, after having hit him 3 times, the meditator released the robber. And so the robber, being injured physically, was unable to return home. So that night he slept under a bridge. And then so he mumbled to himself, "I take refuge in the Buddha, take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. Thank goodness there are only 3 jewels. If there was a 4th one, I'll be done for." So while repeating that, then
Before the done, then I'll be dead.
Okay, I'll be dead. We understand that. So if there is a 4th jewel, we'll be dead. Then there were spirits passing by underneath the bridge. Then
Over the bridge.
Over the bridge. Okay. Then he was who wanted to harm him, but they were unable to do so because he was repeating these lines of refuge.
Imitation.
Imitating taking refuge. Notice.
That and the conjugin say. That say Jidi Batam Yon, Mamaying no Metova, attending Yore. That and the Mamaying no Vizon and the Toba Yumikala, and the Jambria which and the Tell America.
So therefore, one can see that by merely reciting the names of the 3 jewels, one would not be harmed by spirits, these non-human beings. So if one meets with such non-human beings wishing to harm oneself, if one were to recite the names of the 3 jewels, taking refuge in 3 jewels, then they will not be able to do anything to us. Yes.
Chudenje chawa karan de thoma kunjo nan choje jawse sonne ruba sowa dan de la den ruba wo imare inde da chesambe sambadam nyen rogo yores kunjo sowa dam inde da chudenje chawa den de chedo chawa chenboji chege yoanyna de konde ne kunjo de jamroji den de chebe na chawa den dokto ya yongere 그래 so imare den chudenje chawa so 그래다 근저도 이제 최대의 자와 누구를 마도 매개의 자와 되는 누야의 제대는 소바다 있나 대다 민정이 담는 거를 마도 매개가 사주고 말아 이제 되게는 최대의 자와 누야 제도 소바다나 내가 놓진 누구를 소 임말.
Then the next benefit is that you will accomplish everything as you wish. Therefore, if one were to take refuge in 3 jewels, whatever wishes that one may have in one's mind, all these wishes will be accomplished. So before any major undertaking, of any major activity or tasks, prior to that, if one were to take refuge in 3 jewels, make offerings, and then pray, to succeed, then all these wishes will be accomplished. Here, even though translation is religious activity, in Tibetan the word is chöden, which means that which is in accordance with the Dharma, in accordance with the Dharma. So here refers to virtuous activities acts of virtue will be accomplished. If one would, one should not make. It doesn't refer to those actions of non-virtue. The three jewels will not let us engage in non-virtue. So, therefore, we should. Therefore, here it refers to any virtuous activity that one undertakes. If one prays the three jewels, one will definitely succeed. Yes.
So, before engaging the extensive, important virtuous activities, then first begin with taking refuge. Then that way it will be a succeed.
Yes.
다 배자 좀 전에 좀 봐봐 남제 단다 배진 거는 안 된다. 추조세야. 건조다. 이런 된줘야. 된대 여기 알아. 이제 대다 연대 조연도 접선으로 봐. 접선으로 봐. 나 배자 좀 얘기 통만이 점로 제대야 돼 가르잖아. 근데 그거 상반 노진 자와든 다츠만 유용하게 제도 조조 저기 어래. 대한 노진에 대 좀발라 빠진 민족아. 매도만이 노뱀에서 보세요. 다 빠지면 용어인데 우바 이 말이다. 내주의 통마 조조 점로들 봐 우바 가르세나 빠지면 용어다. 아니 상반 노지 좀만 타지만 용어하게 우바가 제도 인수 말이. 그런데 제도 점로 평용된데 용어래.
So we can see also in the different texts that are composed by the masters, great masters of the past. In the beginning, the opening of the text, there's usually lines of praise, the offering of praise to the three jewels, and that these lines are simply an expression of refuge in the three jewels prior to composition of the text. So one begins with refuge in order to for the task of composition to be completed exactly as the composer would wish, and therefore praying that there will be no interruptions to the composition from the side of humans or non-human entities. So therefore, in the beginning of text, this is composition of text. This is customary to begin the composition with lines of praise, offering of praise to the three jewels. In order to not receive interruptions and to be able to complete the text. Yes.
이 말이야. 자 전부 루야게 제도네 점로 제야 돼. 지회 담배로 쓰여 이 말이야. 이제 가서 단다 점로 제가 있나? 지회 담배 남지 노는데 로니 지회 담배 노는데 정원 주고 그래서 뒤노는 종용그레스 집에다면은 수용그레스 somewhere.
So taking refuge prior to undertaking any major tasks is the custom of the great beings or the excellent beings. So therefore, in the previous few sections, we mentioned that by going for refuge, one enters into the ranks of the classes of the excellent beings. So it's similar to that. Yes.
녀든 총자와서 평용 녀든 총자와네 생계슈바데 대변매고 원주 시에송바 따라 다와체바제 니에제 잡던 잔네 남체바제나 높나 대내를 뭐도 총자오 대달 평용 전바제네 샤레라니 내섬도 내섬도 잠로 자오 이 말이다 생계에서는 민지에 대내적인 쉬네 좀 내내 대비매고 봉원 조로서야 된대서 힘을 다 대비매고 봉원 조수면한테 난다 예선 점리 평용에 선도 매제 된로 공모토야 된대서 말과 된노이제 점로 제용도 거나 은행에 선도 매도 딘 선배는 매콤매 제도 용 매도 하지 아니 다베테도 다베테 통연도 대대대라 점로시 점로시가 년도 그랬다 뭔가 점로 여보 제용하나 대 제발 좀 드세요 그 점로도 공용이 어려워 근데 제가 좀 맞대나요 점로지 대 제가 다 선바대나요 요 다베테도 점로도 라 된대제네 제가 레전드 야아 그랬다 남고마 야니게 니게 제는 요도 손자 평용이 그래서
Then the next benefit is that by going for refuge with 3 jewels, you will quickly achieve Buddhahood. So here, Lama Tsongkhapa quotes from a sutra, which is called the Sutra Requested by a Lion. So this particular sutra, there is here the Buddha says, through faith, you overcome a lack of leisure. So here, it says that leisure. Okay, you know what I mean. So by going for refuge to the 3 jewels, one does not fall into a negative rebirth, or a rebirth in the lower realms, and one achieves a higher rebirth in the happy migrator realms. And so, not only that, one is also free from the non-leisurely rebirths, as opposed to the precious human rebirth that is free from the non-leisures of being able to practice Dharma. So one is free from these non-leisurely rebirths, achieves the rebirth, precious human rebirth of leisure endowments, and one is able to continue practicing refuge due to the having accustomed or habituation from the imprints of past practicing refuge in the past life. Therefore, in having achieved the precious human rebirth, one again continues to cultivate the practice of refuge, and then therefore again after the end of that life, then again one achieves the rebirth of leisure again practicing refuge. So in this way, lifetime after lifetime, continuously attaining subsequent rebirths of leisure and able to practice refuge, and training in this special path, training the path of enlightenment this way, gradually customizing oneself to the path and eventually achieving Buddhahood. Yes. So therefore, these benefits of refuge, as mentioned above, these were said by the Bhagavan Buddha himself, and also one can see clearly in historical events or happenings the benefits of refuge. However, if one has doubt towards these benefits of refuge, and one's sort of like is indecisive as to whether there are really such benefits or not to read, and then so if one has doubt and one will not receive, it will be difficult for one to receive the full benefits of refuge. Therefore, the Buddha's, since the speech of the Bhagavan Buddha is undeceptive, non-deceptive, does not deceive, so therefore one should have a decisive faith towards the speech of the Buddha, and then taking refuge in the 3 jewels, when that's one's being, and then one will receive the blessings in this way. And then Rinpoche said, for some people, then they have they know exactly the true meaning of the teachings. So what does it mean to have this decided faith or conviction in the three jewels? For example, if you were a being of high intelligence and were able to understand exactly what it means to take refuge and to understand exactly the benefits or the entirety of refuge, for example, how it is, refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, how one receives a benefit, knowing entirely clearly. And due to that understanding or intelligence, and then thorough understanding or intelligence, then having a decisive faith, a faith that is decided. So that is this is one. Either one should possess this kind of faith due to intelligence. If one does not have this kind of intelligence, then one needs to one's faith still needs to be very stable, a very stable kind of faith. Deciding that these are the benefits of refuge, and this is how it should be practiced. And then practicing with such strong faith, then one receives the benefit of refuge as well. So either of these two, if one is neither of these two, if one is possessing a doubtful mind, thinking, oh, is it really like this, or how is it like that, and one goes through a lot of intellectual processing, eventually not coming to a conclusive decision, a decisive faith. And then in that, throughout the entirety of that time, one does not receive the benefits of refuge. So therefore, one should have faith in the holy words of Bhagavan Buddha as being non-deceptive, and then having a very decided faith, and then taking refuge on the basis of that. Yes. So then if one understands the benefits of refuge and contemplates the benefits of refuge, if one will find that if one does not actually practice refuge, it will be a great loss. Therefore, at least one should take refuge 3 times during the day and 3 times at night, cultivate this practice. Yes. So we as beginners along this path, it is most beneficial for us to focus on cultivating this practice of refuge through knowing the qualities of the 3 jewels and recollecting the benefits of taking refuge in the 3 jewels. One should perform the practice of refuge over and over again. Then one will receive great benefit, as mentioned in the scriptures of taking refuge in the 3 jewels. One would be purified of all our karmic obscurations, and also all of one's purposes will be accomplished, and one will swiftly achieve Buddhahood and so forth. So therefore it's most important for us to cultivate this practice. When Lama Atisha was residing in Tibet, he used to teach the practice of refuge at all times. It seemed that he had taught nothing but refuge. So therefore he had earned the nickname of being called the Refuge Lama, because he was constantly teaching refuge at all times. So therefore, it is important for us to remember this, the benefits of refuge, and to take refuge in the three jewels as our main practice. So whatever her, please apply to actual practice.
Amen.
Oh
한데 군가는 전에 있어야 된 남변 하강다 그 치료를 하강 이렇게 밖에 치료 남변 하강제 말은 so this here the quotation from sutra where ordinary people taking refuge to trees and so forth mountains and the ordinary people who are terrified they take refuge to the mountain most of them taking refuge to the mountains and the forest and object offerings and trees. So there's in the book the Tibetan is Gunga, all joyful, joyfulness or all joyful. So that is it has different meanings. So in the book in here it's translated temple. Usually temple word is a Buddhist temple. I think there's church and there's other different things. So here you use the word temple. So as Rinpoche now, Rinpoche said it's not Buddhist. It means other, like other non-Buddhist. You see, there has a perhaps their temple or their whatever names used. So it's not a Buddhist temple.
Page 205.
To be pacified. So if the temple